And now taking their final instructions, stand the men ready to run their 2 heats. This is heat 1 of the 2 preliminaries. Again, 8 laps with the exact same thing at stake here. Top 4 automatically qualify, and the 2 next fastest times as they take the gun here in preliminary 1.
Lewis, this is the most extraordinary year for collegiate miling I have ever heard of in my career. There's been nothing like it. There were 22 athletes indoors. Now, there's oversized tracks they'll run on. By oversized, if you're not familiar with our sport in detail, Seattle has a track that's 307 meters. Notre Dame has another larger track than 200 meters. The standard track is considered 8 laps to the mile, banked like this beautiful track is, but some are larger, the turns are gradual, you can run pretty fast on them, there's no wind like you have to worry about outdoors. 22 collegians, a number of them are foreigners, but many of them were Americans. It took from 1957 to 1967, 10 years for America to have 22 milers that get under 4 minutes. We've had 22 collegians in our system make it in 1 indoor season. Amazing stuff. I've talked to 3 coaches, and they brought it up to me. They said, can you believe the mile? This is unheard of. It has been this great a year for the sport. I would say that now 3:56:57 is the new 4-minute standard. You have to kind of run that to get that same deep respect we did for the sub-4-minute mile. It's not commonplace, but it's been changing.
Well, I guess the biggest question for that statement is why, as we look at the field here, Jeff Bode of Iowa in the lead, Corey Leslie followed right behind him, and Chris O'Hare, Ryan Foster, as they're bunched up pretty good coming up the home straight with 5 laps to go.
The same principles apply here. The 4 fastest in each of 2 heats, plus the next 2 that don't make that top 4 will advance to the final.
So I'm curious as to know from your perspective, after all of your years, why have we had so many collegiate athletes under 4 now versus that time period you mentioned before?
I think, good question. I think there are more foreigners now here. I did a little count, Lewis, and I came up with 17 countries that are here at this meet on the teams. When I dug in further without doing a complete job, I got up to 22 schools have distance runners here. So you have more talent. It's deeper stuff. I think the training is better. I think the facilities are faster than they've ever been before. And I think it all adds to, instead of running 4:02, you run 3:59.
Well, Chris O'Hare of Tulsa has moved into the lead. And he's followed by Jeff Bode of Iowa. He's a sophomore. Ran 3:58.72 on Notre Dame's big track. The one you mentioned did that last weekend, did Bode. He's at 2nd. Then on the inside there is Corey Leslie of Ohio State. He's actually back in 4th on the outside with the red shorts. And a little under 3 laps to go here. This is heat 1. The top 4 will automatically qualify for the final, and you begin to see that tempo pick up, as I'm always interested to see the guys using that big board up on the back straightaway to see where their competitors are behind them. Smart move.
Keep an eye on Duncan Phillips from Arkansas. He's fading now. He had a hamstring issue after running a great mile at the SEC championships. He's trying to get back in it here as he's got 2 laps to go. But he's been doing some great workouts, although he had to take time off with this hamstring injury. 3:03 at the 3/4 mile mark. Look at how bunched they are. This is set for a big kicker's race here. Coming up to 1 to go in this mile race. Only 2 steps separate all 8 athletes.
And the tempo increases as they take the bell in this preliminary heat of the mile. Chris O'Hare of Tulsa trying to hold on to the lead. Miles Batty really swinging those arms and opening up the stride. Jeff Bode of Iowa trying to hang in there. There he is just to the right of the picture. And then Matthew Gibney of Villanova trying to hang on to that automatic qualifying spot, but he's beginning to struggle. Ryan Foster of Penn State actually moving up, and now there's Foster and another mad dash on the outside. Who's going to be top 4? We'll have to go to the photo finish, I think. Chris O'Hare is going to get the win. And then Miles Batty has been declared 2nd, but 3rd and 4th, there was a mad dash there at the tape. So Ryan Foster now being declared 3rd, and then Michael Hammond, who had a nice rush up on the outside, he finishes in 4th in that automatic qualifying spot.
Two of the very fastest guys in the competition were going head-to-head there, and Miles Batty, who's in 2nd place, looking left and looking right, stepping on the gas, ran 3:55.79 for the mile earlier, and he gets the chest across first, the same time to 100th of a second as O'Hare. Excuse me, O'Hare was given the victory there, but they're both even time-wise. And Virginia Tech actually wound up in 4th place in 4:01. Look at the terrific performance by Chris O'Hare, just a sophomore from Tulsa, who at Fayetteville, Arkansas, ran 3:56.48 seconds for the mile. Just a sophomore. What a great performance. Congratulations to both these men for running so well indoors this year.
Freshman from Boston University, Rich Peters, American East champion.
Well, that was a nice preliminary run there in the mile. Great to see the guys competitive there toward the end to get that automatic qualifying spot, and here they are. O'Hare, Batty, as you mentioned, with the exact time, will advance along with Foster and Hammond on to the final tomorrow.